Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Taji, the teacher's teacher, and we are currently live. Okay. So I'm going to give some people a little time to chime on in. This is our weekly teacher talk where we are taking out the time to share information from the OGs to our first year All Stars. So, again, thank you for everybody to coming in and tuning in. This is Taji, the teacher's teacher. I'm super excited because this is our opportunity to make sure that we're providing all the resources that you can possibly receive as we are conducting our summer series teacher talk. So if you are here in the building waiting for us to go ahead and get the party started, go ahead and put us a little comment in the chat, okay? All right, so let's see who's here today showing us a little love on our weekly live stream, okay? On our Teacher Tuesday. So come on in, come on in. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a moment. I'm super excited about this day because we have an opportunity to talk to Mrs. Priyan. And in a moment, I'm going to introduce her formally, but we have an opportunity to discuss the Teacher Glow Up. Okay, we're going to rise, we're going to revise, and we're going to reset in order to, and reflect in order to make sure that our practice is what it needs to be for our kids to continue to do and shine in which they are intended to do. Okay, so super excited about that. We're going to bring her on. So again, I do see a little support. Shout out to Mr. Fitzhugh. Shout out. Thank you so much for the support in the chat. We are definitely about to get this party started. All righty. So again, I am Taji, the teacher's teacher, and I specialize in transforming complex content into crystal clear concepts, okay? So that you can confidently, a teacher can confidently, a business owner can confidently elevate their teaching or their business communication in a clear and concise way. All right. And the way that we do that, we do it in so many ways as it pertains to being a teacher. I want to share some knowledge. I want to make sure that you guys have all the tools that you need so that you feel as successful as you want to be. Okay. I remember my first year teaching. All right. And when I was a first year teacher, I just remember all of the OGs who had been in the game for about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, who were pouring into me. And I just wanted to make sure that we put some time aside now that I have learned the nature of education to do the same thing for our upcoming new and novice teachers. And so I'm super excited because we got some great things in store for you guys. And we are definitely going to share some very important information. Okay. All right. So let's go. We are about to, I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to go to the next. We are about to have a quick conversation with Miss Priyan. Okay. So again, today we're going to reflect, revise, and we're going to rise. Okay. Meeting Miss Priyan, I wanted to give her the formal introduction. Then I'm going to talk to you in just a moment about what are some things that really stood out to me about who she is and how I actually met her. So I'm going to tell you this quick story. So when I first met Miss Priyan, I had just started. I am a formal, I am Teach for America. So I started back in 2014 in the Corps. And I remember we were just, we went to Rice and we trained to try to figure out how to become a teacher. We were at SMU and we were figuring out all these different things. And at the end of the week, we had this party called, what is it, Cowboys and Boots or Boots? It was like an opportunity for all of us to dress up in our cowboy hats and our boots and things of that nature. And after chatting and kind of having all that camaraderie, I actually we sat and we witnessed the speech of a court member who had then kind of evolved into, I want to say maybe her second or third year. I believe it was her second year of teaching. and she had received the highest level of an award, like the Excellence Teacher Award. So here I am as a newbie, sitting here looking on stage at this young woman who was super ambitious, who was definitely, she was sharing her teaching experience, and I'm like, dang, I'm trying to be like that. I'm trying to get that kind of award. I'm trying to have that. I'm trying to exemplify that level of excellence, right? So I had no clue what I was getting myself into. But I just remember her speech. I remember her sharing her journey. And it's so crazy because we ended up teaching at the same school together. Y'all. So not only did she make the impression on me as a brand new teacher going into the profession, we ended up working together as colleagues. And then we ended up collaborating together as actually becoming a co-founders for a personalized middle school. All right. So we did so many different things together. And when I tell you, this is now my sister, I'm super excited, and I'm just super excited, and now I want to give her her formal flowers. So let's go ahead and go into her bio. So Shirley Prion is a caring, committed, lifelong educator. Her vast experience hails from holding various positions ranging from unlicensed GED teacher to school co-founder. She has served on campuses varying from turnaround to progressive district-based choice school. She is especially committed to serving students of color with emotional and behavioral challenges. She's born and raised in Detroit. Okay, shout out to the Detroit, Michigan. Shirley is a proud foster care survivor who aims to pour unconditional belief into all students. She credits her passion for education to her late grandmother, who had a strong influence on her life as a child. And Shirley is a proud wife and loving mother committed to being a leader of emotional support for her families and all teachers alike. Okay. So let's bring it to the stage, y'all. Let's bring it to the stage, Miss Shirley Prion. Here she come, everybody. Let's go. All right, are you there? Can you hear me? Miss Shirley, are you there? She's coming on in. Super excited about all the things that we have coming going on. And I know she's about to come on in. It is so funny because I know how much of an impact this teacher talk. I think I'm gonna give her some time to kind of get herself together, because I know for sure it's a technology glitch. But this teacher talk, I know it's going to really truly make an impact, mainly because I've been having so many problems with some of the technology. And even if I practice and I prepare and I get all this stuff together, it still end up being somewhat of a challenge. But it's okay because that's what we do, especially in education. All right. You just got to roll with the punches and make it happen. So, yes, she is back in the studio. So, Miss Shirley, let's go. All right.
Hi,
There you go, honey.
I'm here. I'm here. Happy to be here. Excited to be here.
Yes, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yes, I'm super excited because, man, like to be able to see you from this stage and like, oh my God, that's what I want to do, right? That's what Virgos do, right? When they be seeing people, it's
Absolutely.
like facts. I
Absolutely.
can do that. It's like
We love a
they,
challenge. We
yeah,
love
like
a good challenge.
y'all got an award for this? Bet I got it. And so now, like to just 10 years later, like in the game, just trying to figure it all out and
Yeah.
has mastered so many different things. I just
Yeah.
want to, can you just share with us, like, what's your teaching story, and how did you get into the game?
Love it. I started like you with Teach for America. But fun fact, I was waitlisted for a year with Teach for America. So
What?
I was supposed to be in the 2011 core. I was waitlisted because they didn't have a placement for me.
Wow.
So a friend of mine who was a provost at the community college said, well, we have a GED program. We need someone to work the front desk to
What?
just sign students in. And this is 2011, like really the onset of digital education.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the GED students who ranged from 19 years old to 75, they
Yeah.
were supposed to work on this digital learning program to prepare them for their GED test. Somehow I went from the front desk to full blown teaching. I didn't have a teacher license, didn't know what I was doing, but I knew there's no way that these particular learners can learn from this computer. And
Mhm.
remember, this is
Mhm.
14 years ago. Okay.
Right.
So the development, like adaptive learning, no, right, wrong. The programming wasn't great. The students weren't very tech savvy. I was teaching so much, so hard. They just let me be a teacher. They just took me from the front desk and was like, you're a teacher now. I didn't have a single license,
Girl,
not
you
a
can
one.
take it. Look, one thing you can't hide from purpose.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah. And
can't.
so I got that definitely gave me the bug. And so when Teacher America said, hey, okay, we're ready for you to have a spot for you the next year. I was assigned Dallas Fort Worth. I came down to Dallas, went into my
Mhm.
first classroom, and I was so confused. Adult learners and sixth graders, not
Uh-huh.
quite the same. I had no idea that I would be teaching predominantly brown students. Had no idea. I had no idea coming from Detroit. So I got lots of surprises, but the bug hit me. I mean, I was hooked. I was hooked. And then through lots of great successes through Teach for America,
Mhm.
SMU, and just knowing this was what I was destined to do. I have a journalism degree.
Mm.
And it wasn't for me. I still use my journalism degree. I still use my writing skills, but I taught writing to
Yeah.
sixth
Yeah.
graders, seventh graders, eighth graders. I've crossed all of middle school, which I love. I'm middle school forever. Those kids are crazy.
Yes.
They have no idea who they are as human beings. But
It
I
takes a
love
special
middle
person to love middle school.
school. You have to be a little crazy yourself.
Mhm.
You have
Yes.
to be very quite unserious.
Yes.
Very
Very.
unserious.
Very.
I love it, wouldn't change it. I love middle school, but I'm here. I'm hooked. We co-founded a school together that I got to serve as an administrator for. I
Mhm.
am really proud of the fact that I am now a second year, first year teacher.
Okay.
I started in admin, instructional coach, AP for 6 years. I had a little beautiful baby girl. I came home to be with her for a year. And when it was time for me to go back to work after having my little one, I knew the classroom was the most important place in the world.
Right.
So I took a little step down and I said, I think it's time for me to go back to teaching. And so I'm a second year. This is my second time being a second year teacher. I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of that because the classroom is the most important space in the world.
That's interesting you mentioned that. Like, it's the ebbs and flow and how, like, okay, we go through administration and then went back into the classroom. But how did the second time first year feel compared to the first year, the first
You
time?
know, they say teaching it's like riding a bike. Once
Mhm.
you've done it one time, no, no,
Wow.
no. Our kids have evolved and they have grown
Hmm.
and changed and morphed. The science of teaching is similar. The
Hmm.
tools are similar,
Hmm.
but our kiddos have grown tremendously. And I really prioritize and always keep in the forefront of my mind that I teach modern students.
Yeah.
I don't teach the student that I was when I was a kid. Um,
Hmm.
I don't teach the kids that I taught the first year, my first year teaching.
Yeah.
These are different kids with different needs. Our society looks different. And I always keep that in mind. There were so many small things that I forgot about, like the importance of having different color markers. And you write one thing with one color,
Uh-huh.
You switch so they can see things more. I mean, there was small things. Someone spilled something, and I'm like, "Ooh, I don't have a broom. Where is the broom? I forgot I have to buy my own broom. I forgot I have to buy supplies off Amazon. My school office manager gets sick of me asking for things,
Yeah.
but I forgot. I mean, I forgot how much of teaching is just a labor of love.
Yeah.
Because an admin is such a clerical, organization based job. You are
Mhm.
just a firefighter.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
first, second, third, 20-year teacher going into admin is not the answer to your problems. It is not. If you enjoy being a
0 out of 10 would not recommend.
if you love being a firefighter for education, please, by all means, run into the admin office. If you want meaningful, immediate impact with students, okay, take it from me, award-winning teacher, author,
Yeah.
co-founder of a school, all the
Yeah.
things, name it. I have done it, and I am back in the classroom for a second
Period.
time. And if I end up, for some strange reason, going
Yeah.
back to admin, I will be back for a third stint.
Child, you'll be a third first year teacher.
Listen, factorial. Okay, factorial.
I mean, there's some people who love it, and I get it. But one thing it is that you can't unturn the heart of a teacher.
Oh, for sure.
And
For
even
sure.
if you are working in admin and different roles, you will always be a teacher.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Always. Like it does not matter at all.
Absolutely.
So at this point, it's like, okay, what does the teacher glow up actually look like and what should it feel like?
Yeah. I love this. So, um, last October, I released my Amazon best-selling book, The Heart Is Not Enough.
Period. Hold it up. Where is it at? Where is it at? Let's see it.
This is I just it happened to be here, but
Go
so
get
the
one.
title of the book I released, the Heart Is Not Enough: Habits of
Okay.
Educators Who Care for Modern Kids.
Uh-huh.
It encompasses exactly what your work refers to in terms of the teacher glow up. The heart is not enough. We go into education knowing I love this. I love
Mm-hmm.
kids. I
Mm-hmm.
love teaching. My elementary school principal was amazing. My fourth grade teacher changed my life.
You're
So
right.
we go in with such a heart for it as we
Mm-hmm.
love it. But then we forget I need skills. Teaching is a science.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
feels like an art. It
Yes.
feels so much like an art because you're creative and you got your bulletin boards and you're using Pear Deck and you have this great idea for how you're going to use Oreos to teach moon cycles and
Yes.
all of that. But teaching is a science.
Yes. It
Teaching is a
is.
science. So that glow up to me really encompasses this idea that you need to be ready to
Mm-hmm.
add skills to your toolbox. A lot of us go into education with such a pronounced heart for this work. We
Mm-hmm.
don't leave space for the skill set that we need to teach students. A lot of the social conversation around education
Mm-hmm.
that we see online is really about the social part of education, and it's not about the science of teaching. How often do we see something go
Yeah.
viral about the pedagogy of teaching?
Yeah.
Even when we talk about our deep relationships with teachers from our childhood, we're often talking about the way that they make us feel.
Yeah.
Many of our first and second year teachers and people who leave and matriculate out of the education field, they're so connected to that feeling that they forget you also have to learn how to teach students from a pedagogy perspective,
Yes.
right? I always say and remind myself all the time, I teach these kids how to read first.
Mm-hmm.
I can love on them all I want to,
Right.
but if I haven't taught you these standards, I've done you a disservice. We've built a beautiful relationship. You could have built this relationship with anyone else in the world. My first job is to teach you how to read. Let me do that first as a part of the relationship that you have, right?
Yeah.
So in 10 years, when I see you, I want you to say to me, oh my God, when we read The Giver,
Right,
we
right,
read House on Mango Street,
right,
I will never forget reading that book with you. I think about it all the time, opposed to something that's a little bit more social. I will never forget that pizza party we had. We
right.
had the good, we didn't have Little Caesars or nothing. We had the good pizza.
But
I
they
always
stay
get
there. They stay there.
that. Mhm.
And I didn't mean to cut you off. You can go ahead and complete that.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they stay in that space of and I think that's just a cultural thing because there's so much pressure to being the dancing teacher.
absolutely.
There's so much pressure of doing
Absolutely.
the daps when they come into the
Absolutely.
room. It's so much pressure in being that TikTok going viral type
Absolutely.
of educator. But I remember like when I'm talking about real tools of making significant change, um, I think one of my best teacher partners, one of my best teacher partners, and I hope she's out because I'm a tag her later, but it was Miss Lynn.
Mm. I remember.
And she was a first year teacher,
Mhm,
Asian,
mhm.
in a
Didn't play.
urban school where most of her kids looked like were black and
Yep.
brown,
Uh,
right?
mhm.
And the best when I talk about like the reflecting factor, Miss Lynn and I doing transitions, we had identical lessons. And we would literally have like those transition talks.
That little mini meeting right in
Yeah.
the hallway. Meet
Like,
me in the middle.
yeah, all right, sis. Why the
Yeah,
kids coming down the hallway to the right or whatever? We would literally lean in and say, okay, how did your first period go?
that's right. That's right.
You're like, what did you make it to your exit ticket?
Yep.
How did the kids process what was going on? Okay, what was a flop? Because
Yep.
and then
What do I need to fix? And
yeah,
first and second year teachers, you really have to stay in that space. I
hmm,
always tell everyone your second year is the most important.
yeah,
That
yeah.
first year, that first pancake
It's
is
always
burnt, it's
flat
crispy, it's too soft, it's a little. How is this pancake crispy and now how did we get here?
and it's real greasy too.
Listen, too much butter, too much olive oil. That first year is tough. That
Yeah,
first year is tough. When you go into your second year teaching, that is time to reflect
yeah.
period by period, day
Hmm,
by day. And
hmm,
that's when you um really own your skill set and your personality as a teacher. When you
hmm.
get done doing your handshake at the door, you need to go teach those babies those standards. And I love, we live in a much more, modern day. We think about the viral moment of the students braiding their teacher's hair.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And the teacher in me, the administrator in me wants
Hmm.
to know, okay, what's your data look like? What's your kids' performance look like? Because
Right.
I'm not a braiding teacher.
Yeah.
My science teacher, my reading teacher, my math teacher, because when my students matriculate through life,
Right.
them to take every standard with them so that no door is ever closed to them because I didn't teach them how to analyze text properly. So we live in a modern day with modern students, so it's important that we meet them where they are at the door.
Hmm.
Now when we get into the classroom, you're going to meet me where I am so we can get this learning. We can get
Yeah.
this learning. And much of the reason why I even chose to go back into education is I have a 2-year-old daughter. Um, and I think about the
Mhm.
teachers that she'll have. And I say, you know how our teachers were when we were coming up. They didn't care if we liked us, not a tiny bit. I do not. Can you write in cursive? Yes, or
Period.
because I am here to teach you that. So we've kind of found this space in the middle, right? We've
Yeah.
created a space for us to have relationship with our students.
Hmm.
Require that in this day and age. They do. And also let's never forget the pedagogy and the science of teaching to make sure that when my students matriculate past my classroom, they're ready, for the next grade level. So, like you said, every class period, stopping and asking yourself, what didn't work?
Right.
What's different about these students in my second period opposed to my first period? Oh, this is my honors block.
Hmm.
Speak a lot less take my hands off of this and let them go on their own, because these are talented and gifted students, right? And so it's always about reflecting. Even now, I came
Yeah.
from admin, and when I went back into the classroom, I was back to reflecting every class period, saying, okay, wait a minute,
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't- that didn't work. That I planned this lesson beautifully, I didn't deliver it well. I got too many slides in here. Let me take off,
Yeah.
pull out some of these slides, too many parts, right? Timing, pacing, wait time. Those are this that skill set that teachers have, knowing your content, exemplars. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like you're admin, and I said this, I come from the other side, so I understand. It feels like your admin is just asking you for another thing. But when you're in those first, second years of teaching,
Yeah.
you need that to help refine your understanding of the science of whatever lesson you're delivering to those kids. And as you grow and you get better, your brain works a little faster, and they need a graphic organizer for that.
Yeah. We
I
got to
need to
upgrade.
pre-fill the graphic organizer. This is too many things for them to fill in on the graphic organizer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just have them write the main vocabulary words. They can draw an arrow to this opposed to drawing the whole, right? There's so many
Right.
small
Right.
skills. So many small skills. The heart is not enough. I know you love these kids. I know you care, but you need some skills also. You also need some skills
Yeah.
to work with that. Yeah.
That's good. So thinking about that, what glow up reflections, or excuse me, like resources that you may have as it pertains to like you understanding the importance of reflecting and glowing up and revisiting and getting better. I know that you brought just a few little tidbits to kind of just share with us in
I
terms of
did.
like how caring can connect to
That's
the
right.
glow up. All right. So let's go ahead and kind of just put this here and some of the resources. Of course, this will be available to you guys. But I definitely want to give Miss Brienne the show to go ahead and kind of just share what we got going on as it pertains to caring and glowing up.
Oh my goodness. It's all about care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, to me, you're Taji. Now, at school, you're Miss Right, but now,
Or
now,
it's you.
and now Miss Fitzhugh. Now Miss Fitzhugh. Um, but it is all about care. Okay. So I'm gonna run you through a couple sentences, and I'm gonna ask you if you've ever heard them before. Okay. You ever heard these new teachers don't care about these kids? You heard
Yeah.
that one?
Yes.
Kids just don't care about learning anymore. You
Yeah.
heard that one?
Mm-hmm.
Administrators only care about test scores.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about test scores. I want my kids to learn something valuable. You,
Yeah.
you heard that one? Listen,
Yeah.
parents need to take better care of their kids.
Yeah.
Okay. I've
Yeah.
heard this term care across 12 years in education used so many times. And it's something I want all new returning teachers to have in their toolbox. There are many definitions of care.
Yeah.
Care is the act of supervision, care is the act of eliminating harm, and care is meaningful interest.
Mm-hmm.
So when parents say these new teachers don't care, they're referring to meaningful interest. Do you have meaningful interest in my student? Do you know who they are as a human being?
Mm-hmm.
Are you attempting to relate to them? When teachers say these administrators don't care, many times they're referring to the act of eliminating risk or harm. What they're
Mm-hmm.
saying is, I need a strong disciplinary system on my campus so my students will come in this room and learn their
Mm-hmm.
reading, math, science, social studies. And without some sort of overarching disciplinary system, that's not happening. And I need that. And sometimes you have a teacher who is literally just not the best at taking care of the kids. The kids
Mm-hmm.
are going to the bathroom 15 times. They're
Mm-hmm.
hanging out the door before the bell rings. They're coming out the door, right?
I
That
can
very
see.
basic supervision. So what I want all teachers to understand is teachers, parents, administrators are like, it's all about care.
Mm-hmm.
Care is so complex. We all care for kids. That's why we're in this work. But some of us may be better with meaningful interests in students, like our
Mm-hmm.
teacher who let the students braid his hair. I bet his interest in his students is so high. He cares about them deeply as human beings. The teacher who's no nonsense. Now I taught with Miss Wright, and Now, I was also Miss Wright's administrator at one point. You see this number 2 on the screen? Here as the act of eliminating further damage or harm to those no nonsense teachers, which Miss Wright was. Okay, if Miss Wright would make her class come outside. We'll all line up outside. Bring your book bag, bring your pencil, bring your Crocs. She'll make them line up outside and bring them back in as many times as they needed to. See, that's a combination of 1 and 2, supervision and eliminating risk or harm. If you're in my classroom and you are chatting it up with whomever, friend, you're not learning.
Right.
You're not learning.
And we cut them distractions at the door.
And
Take it back outside.
I know I'm doing you harm if you sit in my classroom 45 minutes, 5 days a week, and you don't walk away with any learning, because that's our first purpose of being here. Or one that I really love is when we see a particular behavior in a student and we know that that might be harmful. I've had students who have this extreme shyness. I will never forget one of my babies, one of the boys, he took her glasses and ran. I was administrator at the time, and she comes walking to me and she's like, Miss Priet, he took my glasses. Okay, now at this point, I care for this child.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first thing I have to ask myself, I said, why did you let him take your glasses? She said, I don't know. I just let him do it. Now, wait a minute. Now, I care for you.
Yeah.
I never want you to put yourself in a position where someone can take from you and you have nothing to say about it. So, first off, we role played what's going to happen the next time he takes your glasses. And we role played it multiple times. And then, because I was an administrator, I was in a different role there. We called her mom. And I explained to her mom, hey, I have this issue we're having at school. There's a student who constantly is taking your daughter's glasses. I let mom know we're role playing how she should respond to that. Can you role play with her at home also? So the next day I see them in the hallway and I see him coming. He's running. You know the kid I'm talking about. He's a runner, track star. He's running down the hall. And I look over at this baby and she looks back at me. He runs by trying to take her glasses. And all she said to him was, no. And I thought, that's care.
Yeah.
I want to eliminate harm to you. If I have to teach you how to say no in conjunction with your parent, because we leave parents out way too much.
Right.
That's eliminating risk or harm to you because I care for you. At that time, I was her administrator. And so every day, someone's taking something from her because we haven't worked through her on how do you say no to someone. But what happens when she's 17, 18, 20, 25, 30, and she's never learned to say no? Care is so complicated.
Yeah.
Many of us are naturally good at one area of care, right? That first one, the act or supervision. I love those teachers who you come in their classroom, their kids sitting there, everybody's in their desk, they're quiet, ain't learning nothing.
I've seen that before too.
But they're quiet.
Yeah.
They're in there.
They're compliant.
They're compliant. They're supervised.
Yeah, but not learning the thing.
Not learning. Many times when substitutes come into our buildings, their first job is number 1, supervision. This teacher is not, I need you to take care of these students for this class period because their teacher's not here today. Take care of them. There are many levels to care. And it is really about care for us. Are these kids properly supervised in your classroom? First, second year teachers, they struggle with supervision.
Right.
They struggle with that.
So thinking about like what first year teachers kind of like think about, or struggle with, what are like some practical teacher moves that they can do to help them kind of like reflect on their practice, but also demonstrate care?
Absolutely. I love one of the most foundational books that I read early in my educator years was The 100 Habits of Teachers, those 100 behaviors that teachers have. Really small things like say it again. So you're at step 1, you need your students to sit down right? Because you care for kids, number three, you have meaningful interest in them. So they want to talk to you and you want to talk to them, but you're trying to teach your lesson. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you say, hey, so and so, Johnny and Jaquavius, sit down. And they're still at your desk talking, chatting with you. Say it again. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
sit down. Same tone, same tone you said it the first time. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to scream. No, sit down. Say it
Mm-hmm.
again. And they keep talking to you and you just look back. Sit down.
Yeah.
I love those. A lot of the tips that we have for teachers are so small. But sometimes teachers, especially first, second year teachers, they care so much about the kids as humans, they forget I need to teach you whatever standards I'm here to teach you for. And so you really need to prioritize, how do I get my students seated and ready to learn? And then I still keep doing all the caring for you along the way as
Mm-hmm.
a part of our lesson, integrated into our lesson. Those small things that we do as teachers. Find someone who has matching shoes as you, find someone who has the same birthday as you,
Mm-hmm.
relating your own experience, your own appropriate experiences in life to those lessons, but centering learning for everything that you do in your classroom. Oftentimes, new first, second year teachers, they tend to center their relationship with the student,
Right, right, right. And not the content.
center the content
Mm-hmm.
around relationship. Well, I'm a reading teacher, and so I get a great chance to relate characters in books to students,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really, if you're an ELAR teacher, please know your job is so foundational. What you do as an ELAR teacher, as a reading teacher, it sets the standard for everything that kids do in life. I've always said the silver bullet to education is inside of a book. When kids are lacking literacy skills, they struggle in science, they struggle in social
Yeah,
studies. Once
they
they get to
struggle
those
everywhere.
word problems in math,
Mm-hmm.
they really need those literacy skills. So center all of the work that you do in your classroom around your content first. Everything else is secondary to your content. Not unimportant. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
saying it's
secondary.
unimportant. I'm just telling you that it's secondary, because if the student leaves your room and they have an amazing relationship with you, but you haven't taught them those standards, you didn't teach them anything. You just mentored them. You're not a
That's
mentor,
true.
you're a teacher.
That's really interesting, and that you mentioned that, because I always think about building relationships is the gateway to content.
Hmm.
But the funny part is that people stay with building the relationship and never get to the content.
I want to stamp, and it's important to me to say this out loud, because we work with modern students.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
relationships are the center of what we do in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And I suspect that as we move into more artificial intelligence, relationships are even more important. And
Mm-hmm.
often we say, and Arita Pearson, one of my education idols, she said, kids can't learn from teachers they don't like.
Right.
Okay, and that's absolutely true. Where I always want, and I always push my first and second year teachers, when you're growing in terms of reflect, revise, right? So you can grow and become a good teacher. I want you to first center the content
Mm-hmm.
first. And because those relationships are going to come, you're in the room with this student every day for 9 months. There are times where, especially in the elementary grades, where
Mm-hmm.
students spend more time with their elementary school teachers than they do with their own parents,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
relationships are going to come, but because there is such a social layer in education, especially online and our digital presence, right? We are
Mm-hmm.
often thinking, when we go into our classroom, we're thinking about social things. Oh, I'm going to have this really cute nook over here, and when we come in, we're going to say this, and we're going to do this chant, and it's going to be
Yeah.
amazing. And so, if I'm a first, second year teacher, I want you to understand, you keep all of those things. They're
Yeah.
great. But when you're reflecting on your practice, you
Mm-hmm.
need to also be reflecting on your content and your pedagogy and your standards. Did I teach my students what they were supposed to learn?
Mm-hmm.
Because when they move on, when they matriculate past your grade level, they're supposed to take some skills with them, not just the relationship that they had with you. So you have to create that space for both of those things.
That's good. That's good. And you also gave us, like, let me show you some great tips
Mhm.
here of habits of educators who care for modern kids. Can you tell us more about this?
Absolutely. Can you go back one slide for me?
Uh-huh. Okay.
So I use this acronym to describe modern students. Modern students today are driven by choice,
Mm-hmm.
access, relationship, and emotional expression.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's like a joke, the like Disney Channel, like generation, right? These kids are that we teach today really are the social media a generation.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional expression is a large part of what they do. They are accustomed to choice. When they opened their first iPad when they were 6, 5, 3, however that age was when it started for them, they received thousands of intangible choices. For us, it was you want the pink dial or the purple dial.
Right, right, right.
For them, they can scroll through 60 different colors of what they want this dial to look like, the avatar, the car. They are driven
Mm-hmm.
by choice, they're
Mm-hmm.
driven by access. Your student is going to find you on social media.
Mm.
They will be in your comments. Hey, miss, remember me?
I know.
They will be in your, they have access to us in ways that we never had access to our teachers growing up. They are
Mm-hmm.
relationally driven. They do seek a relationship with you as their teacher. You want to keep this in your mind that I teach a modern student.
Mm-hmm.
And when you center that idea and say, okay, this is who I am teaching, remember that. Now reflect on your pedagogy and your practices to make sure
Mm-hmm.
you're considering choice, access, relationship, and emotional expression in the way that your sound lessons, your aligned lessons are built for your students.
Mm-hmm.
If all you do is care, then you're forgetting those skills. Now, we're going to go forward a little bit. So, I really believe in these habits.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really, really believe in these habits for teachers. And these habits I've built really are to help you manage your emotional burnout that teachers have. So I want to highlight one that is really important, and that's really been a big part for me, and it's for first and second year teachers, which is be consistent when it hurts.
Mm.
If
Mm.
you tell your student, I'm a new growing first, second year teacher. If I tell my students every Friday we're going to have a quiz, guess what
Yeah.
you need to do?
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
means that every Friday,
Every
you
Friday.
even if that means Thursday night, you're like, oh man, I don't got no quiz ready. I ain't printed this quiz. I had, oh my Lord. The minute you stop having that quiz on Friday, those kids stop believing you.
That is so true.
As you are growing as that first, second year teacher,
Mm-hmm.
consistency. A lot of what burns us out in our first, second years of teaching is recreating over and over and over again. Let me
Mm.
tell you some first year, second year teachers, stop recreating. Use that same worksheet, use that same slideshow, copy it, delete a few slides, use the set, be consistent over and over and over and over again. And that's a part of that science of teaching. Kids learn often through that consistency. They're learning content from you and they're learning about the culture of your classroom through whatever you are consistent in. If you are
Mm-hmm.
consistently saying, okay, we done last 5 minutes, okay, we can chill now, that's consistent.
Right.
They'll
Right.
be like, oh, last five, at minute number 7, they're going to start saying, oh, we done now because I know the last 5, we chill.
That
Go, go
is so true. That
whatever
is
you are,
so true.
or they're going to walk in your room and they're going to say, oh, I know it's Friday. I already know we got this quiz.
Mm-hmm.
Because these kids are so emotionally expressive, they'll hit you with something like, come on, let's go start this little quiz. I know you're going to give us. I mean, they'll,
Yeah.
and
Always.
it's either they're saying, come on, let's start this quiz you give us every Friday, or they're saying, let's chill like we do every Friday.
Yeah.
So you
It's
want
the
to
same
push your,
thing. I
you want
used to do the same thing in my classroom as it pertains to like Fridays was the quiz, Monday was their data.
to,
And
yep.
one Monday, I guess one weekend, I was so tired. I just couldn't. I
You're
couldn't.
being a human.
I couldn't get it together. And I remember that Monday, I came in and the kids was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Where's our data? How do we do?
Yeah.
What's going on?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "You right. I
Yeah.
got you. I'm
Yeah.
slipping.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
want to speak to, we have larger populations of students who have autism and anxiety.
Yeah.
This is really about, I really focus on modern kids. My job, my work is centered around modern students. Okay. So because we know we have many more students with anxiety, autism, they want you to be consistent with them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, all weekend they might even our kids who experience a lot of change at home and on the weekend and instability, they
Mhm.
enjoy coming in knowing it's Monday. Miss Wright is going to be ready with her data. This is what we do in here.
Mhm.
I have a teacher uniform. This is my teacher dress, my black teacher dress. I wear
Mhm.
it 4 or 5 days a week. I have 7 of them. I swap them out. Okay? I wear the same dress. One of my students, a student with autism, one day I came in with a red flowery dress on. He walked in my room and walked right out. He said, I don't know her. Ma'am, my teacher wears a black dress every day. I love one of the teachers across the hall from me. She had her hair braided. And one of my
Mhm.
students who has highly functioning autism, he would not go in her room. He said, she has braids. That's confusing to me. She doesn't have braids. Yeah, she has a pressing curl. Okay, what is this? And I love that.
Yeah.
And I always remind my new teachers, these are modern students.
Yeah.
Teach these modern students that you have and center who they are when you build those lessons. A lot of times when people are talking about what's wrong with education today, they're really thinking about what they needed when they were growing up. Our kids are not growing up in their world. Our kids
Mhm.
are experiencing completely different levels of anxiety and instability in ways that we did not experience. We experience a different set of realities than
Mhm.
they are.
Mhm.
We consistency is a part of the way this generation enjoys is being loved. I want you to be the same thing. When they go back and they open TikTok, the same videos on the same person's page are there. They can go back and watch that same video over and over again. That's
Right.
consistency to them. And
Yeah.
they crave that. They desire that. And that's what we can offer to them along with the learning that we give them.
That's good. That's good. So I know, can you tell me more about what we have here?
So um
Oh, these are the sentences.
these are my phrases that I hear from my
Okay.
journey in teaching back to admin and back to teaching. Oh my goodness, I heard them all the time. You go on social media, open any video,
Mhm.
you're going to see it. See that first one? These new teachers don't care about. I've heard it a million times.
Yeah.
These new parents don't care. I believe in kids, teachers, school administrators, and parents alike. This is a joint work that we all do together.
Right.
And we're all using different definitions of care because we all care so much about the peace that we hold. One of the biggest mistakes that we make as administrators, teachers, is we forget about our parents. Our parents want to be a part of this work that we do. And so when we say the parents don't care and we assume that they don't care, we leave them out of the conversation. When my baby was getting her glasses stolen every day, the first person I knew I needed to work through that with was her mom. I knew that then because kids come home and their mom was like, how was school today? Oh, it was fine. Will not tell her mother that every day her glasses are being taken.
Right.
We'll leave that out because she's forgotten about it, you know,
Mhm.
by now until it really, really hurts, right? And parents, they really feel at times ousted by schools. We forget to call to check in with them and tell them about those small things that we know about their kids that are really big things,
Mhm.
you know. And so it's I always say parents, kids, teachers, school administrators alike, it takes all of us. We are fighting so many isms in this world, especially in urban education.
Yeah.
Racism, sexism, classism, just all the isms. We're fighting all of them, but we can't physically fight those things. We can't literally fight those things, but I can't argue with this teacher in front of me or this parent in front of me or this student. I can do that. I can fight that person. And I can feel a little relief from all these isms that we're fighting. I believe that we're in this fight together. And it's so
Mhm.
important that we all start to speak the same language of care together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. You know, I wonder, we got a lot of teachers quitting left and right.
They're absent. They're absent.
They just gone.
They're out of there.
One day they here, one day they gone, right? And
They're
so
out of there.
we just
Teachers that
trying
I
to
love, respect, that I learn from. Absolutely.
they
Yeah.
gone, y'all. They gone. So I'm wondering, like, tell me, how can reflecting and revising and resetting can just help a new
Yeah.
teacher to not be
Yeah.
so quick to quit.
Yeah. Absolutely. During my days in administration, I struggled with this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember one semester I had about five teachers, all Gen Z, maybe one was not Gen Z, all young teachers that I was in awe of the entire year. I had such a
Mm-hmm.
great and profound respect for the work that they did in their classrooms. Always will be fans. I stand these teachers. I really do. And so when they actually left education, it put a little bit of a fire under me to start to ask myself, man, why are they quitting?
Yeah.
What is going on? And it's really was one of the foundations for the work that I do now around care. Because what I knew about those teachers, they care for them. They care.
Yeah.
They have meaningful interest in students. I knew that. But I had to ask myself, what are the pieces and parts of care that maybe our campus wasn't set up at best for, and what were the pieces that they were missing out on, or some of the context they were missing.
Mm-hmm.
I always love to address the savior complex that we have.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear someone say, I love my kids, I love my kids, now I correct them and I say, no, you care for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You care for them. You have 9 months with these students.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to take care of them in all the ways that have been assigned to you. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to supervise them. You're going to eliminate risk or harm. You're going to have meaningful interest in them for 9 months. And then guess what? You go home, you take a break, you come back, you get another set for 9 months. When we love our students so hard, and because we love it on them so hard, it drains us emotionally
Yeah.
because we've invested so much of our sense of self-efficacy. And am
Mm-hmm.
I able to change the student's life? And I want to invite all teachers, new, young, to understand in totality, it's not your job to change this kid's life. I know that sounds like a strange thing to say.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean that. I want you to release the idea that I have to change the student's life. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You have to teach them reading, writing, math, science, physics, Latin, whatever, art, whatever you're teaching them. You have to do that. That's your job. You do that,
Mm-hmm.
and you do that well. And you recognize that maybe I'm planting a seed,
Yeah.
maybe I'm watering a seed, right? Maybe I'm shepherding this plant as it is growing and they are blossoming. Maybe that's my role. But you do that for all this. At this point in my career, I've taught over 1,000 students. I don't remember all of their names. And in my administration days, I may have had 600 students at a time.
Yeah.
If you're in my building, if you're in my classroom, oh, baby, I'm going to take care of you for these 9 months because that's my job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take care of you. But when I'm done caring for you, you're going to go to the next teacher. And I'm going to make sure I have done all the work that was assigned to me for you,
Mm-hmm.
but the next teacher has a lighter load. A lot of times I see teachers leave the field because the students that they love the most drain them and they tend to obsess over the idea that they weren't
Yeah.
able to fix it or change that child. You are not in the business of changing a child. You're a reading teacher, a math teacher. Teach that student and let
Mm-hmm.
the work stand for itself. Those students may come back to you later. I have students, Taji and I founded Ignite Middle School together, and those students, somehow, a few of them, we shared this baby together, Denaya.
Yes.
Denaya FaceTimes me, and she wanted to organize a reunion for the founding students. And I said,
Wow.
what do you need from me? And she said, you already taught me how to organize. I don't need you to help me with that.
What? A sixth grader. She's a sixth grader.
She to me, she's a sixth grader. She's a senior now, but to me,
Yeah.
she's just going to be a sixth grader.
Mm-hmm.
And I that was reminding me, I took care of her while she was
Mm-hmm.
assigned to me, but she moves on and she keeps going.
Yeah.
You do the work that is assigned to you for that student, and you do it at 100%. And you go home and you lay your head down and you recharge, and you don't bring the moments of failure with you.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, Taji, reflect,
Yeah.
revise,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then you go in the next day and you do that. You do it again. You try it again. We give so much grace to students, right? New
Yeah.
day, new day. Hey, teacher who's ready to go, ready to quit, you get a new day tomorrow.
Right.
Guess what?
Right.
After a new day, you get a new school year. In my book, I share some of my horror stories from education. I mean, some of the things some kids put me through the wire. I mean, I had one of my old principals call and say, "You never told me about this because I thought I was going to get fired." Of course, I didn't tell you. I was struggling, right? And our first, second years, we're all struggling.
Can I tell you a funny story though? So this is just like a light way of reflecting. So my first year teaching, I used to keep a broom, like
Mm,
kind of like next to the front door, or when people would come in.
yeah,
And so I had a student who was not necessarily diagnosed with like
mhm, that
anything, but
happens.
he was in the classroom and he wasn't receiving the special education support or anything like
Mhm,
that as
been
much.
there.
Honey, I had this day, I had about three principals, an instructional coach, and like somebody from TEA come in and visit my classroom all
The
at once.
worst. Mm.
And this child got up from this seat, went over there, got the broom, and started sweeping in front of while I was teaching, just sweeping up across the room in the front.
If you don't sit down,
You know, so
sit
you
down.
know,
You know, the snails can't sit down.
if you know what I really wanted to say, but I got all these people in my room.
Got
You
to
know what
save
I really
face.
wanted to say.
If
And
you
so
don't
I'm sitting here as
sit
the first
down
year teacher watching this baby sweep across my feet while I'm teaching
for no reason,
for no
random,
reason, random, with five administrators and all this in my
the
classroom.
Texas Education Agency.
Yes, because you know it was in there every day at the school I was working at. So I kid you not. So a quick reflection was put that broom in the closet.
Yes,
Do not
so small, such
do
a
not
small
keep that kind
change.
of stuff out.
Oh, so put the broom in and listen. I love that, Taji. I love that. For first and second year teachers, it's so small. Put the broom in the closet.
Put that organize your classroom in a way where you don't have no distractions like that.
Put a piece of cloth over that little that little bookshelf you have with all the stuff on it.
Yeah,
Put a piece of cloth over it, cover it. Small changes.
small.
And that's why what your work is so important. Reflect,
Yeah,
revise.
yeah.
Reflect, make a small change. You don't have to change or fix everything right
Hmm.
now. You have to make those small changes, and those little small changes, they really do add up over time. They add
Yeah,
up over time. I want those amazing teachers that have left education. I want them all to come back
they need to
and
come
go
back.
day by day, period by period, and
Mm.
leave those class periods where they are, and just know now it's time for me to take care of a new group of kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So, Shirley, how can people stay connected with you? Because you shared a lot of good information with us. So, how can people, just stay connected with you and all the things?
Absolutely. Please, 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 you can follow me on Instagram at Teach Me Something Lovely.
Hmm.
You can also find my author page on Facebook, just my name, Shirley Prian. And of course, you can just search me on Amazon, Shirley Prian. You can Google me. You can Google me.
Oh, okay. So, what's the
Just
book? What is the book?
uh, The Heart is Not Enough, Habits of Educators Who Care for Modern Kids. Special
Okay.
emphasis on care, and special emphasis on modern kids. If I can find me on Amazon.
Hold it
And
up. Hold it up for us so we can see it, so we can find it on Amazon.
I just happen to
Is
have, look at that. I just happen happen to have it. Happen to have it.
Yes,
Happen to have it.
yes.
So excited about this particular work, and I'm certain I wrote this in mind with those teachers who have left us. I wrote this with
Mhm,
them in mind, sharing some of those failures and successes that I've had over the years, with a
mhm.
special emphasis on the failures, because that failure of a day, a moment, a class period is not the end of your career in education.
Yeah,
Don't hold on to that.
yeah,
The
yeah.
next day you come in and you care what try do it again the same way we do the kids. Line
Mhm,
up like you used to do them. Line up, get out my room, line up and try this again.
yeah.
Sometimes that's you on a daily basis, day by day period. And when you really center your content and you love on your
Mhm.
content more, everything else is gonna come along with it. Yeah, I make this joke. We've all had that teacher that was like 85 years old and it was time for them to go and they in the classroom dozing off. Oh, baby, that's gonna be me. They're gonna have
This
to
is-
drag me out the school. They're gonna be like, Miss Priyan, you have 57 great grandchildren. Please go take care of them. Get out. And I'm gonna be like, one more year, please. I still got it. This Pear Deck still work. Listen,
You gonna
I
use a pair deck of 80?
listen, ma'am, Pear Deck is out. It used to be the newest thing. Listen. They're gonna have to drag me out the school. I love education. It is
Yeah,
my favorite thing. For many of us, it's ministry. You know,
yeah.
it's the work that we want to do, that we choose to do. And I want more of us to do it well. I want us to center care in the work that we do along with our content so that our students, specifically kids that look like you and I, they walk away
Mhm.
from each class period gleaning something that is important for their academic success for the totality of their life. There is tons of space for us to be social with our kids. Just don't forget that you're a teacher first.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Wow. Thank you so much, Miss Priyan, for coming by.
Of course.
Taji, the
Our
teacher's
teacher
teacher.
chat.
Yes, our and our summer series, because she's definitely an OG times two, right? So
That's
she's
right.
a
It's my second
yeah.
first year.
So
Yeah.
you're an OG, just passing down like some wisdom to our all stars who are super excited, ready to get going, and just want to make a significant impact, but understanding why this work is so important. Okay, so thank you for helping me just pour into them and to also provide this resource for all of our teachers all over the nation, all over the globe, who is just wanting to have this kind of chat that's transparent. In addition to that, next week we are definitely going to speak with Miss Buzaz, who is the parent, who is a great
Yeah.
parent liaison. Okay, she specializes in truly communicating and maintaining communication with the parents. Okay, so we're going to talk about the parent teacher power duo, the tango, the dance that you need to keep your parents intertwined with, and why communication is so important in this work. Okay, so super excited for us to continue on again on every Teacher Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will have a Facebook Live. We're going to also be on LinkedIn. And then if you check our Taji the Teacher's Teacher YouTube, we'll also have some information on there as well. All right. So before we get started, or before we end this chat, I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank you, Miss Priyan, and I want to make sure that you guys go out and purchase and support. Okay, the book that Miss Priyan has poured all of her heart, her expertise, and everything into, because this is an opportunity for us to truly care for our students that don't burn us out.
Absolutely.
Okay. You can only care for so much, but after a while, you got to get yourself together.
That's
All right.
right.
Just
You got
plant
another
the seed
class
and move
period to
on.
go.
Yeah, plant the seed and move on. And so, and just have enough faith that one day that seed is going to flourish. You might not
Absolutely.
see it immediately, but one day you will make a significant impact while you are still prioritizing the original job and the original duty, which is to make sure that our kids get the quality content they need to receive so
Absolutely.
that they can go out and compete globally
Yes.
in this
Yes.
world and be able to flourish in so many different areas. So, again, thank you, everyone. Thank y'all so much for joining Taji, the teacher's teacher, and we will see you again on our next teacher talk on next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
Have a good day.